Is he
Is he
standing
standing on
on the floor?
the floor?
No,
No,
he
he
isn't
no, he isn't
standing
standing
on the
on the
floor. On the
floor.
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 Cái sàn. Rồi, he's sitting on the chair. He's
He's
sitting
he's sitting on the
on the chair.
chair.
Is she? Is là một con sờ nhỏ sẽ sang song she lớn thì chúng ta đọc con sờ sang song she thôi. Is she thôi. Is she speaking French? French. Is she speaking French? No, she isn't speaking French. She's speaking English. Is she? Again.
Is
Is
she
she speaking
speaking
French?
French?
No.
French.
No.
No,
She isn't.
she
Isn't
isn't
speaking
speaking
French.
French.
She's
She's
speaking
speaking
English.
English.
Are we going home? Are we going home? No, we aren't going home. We remaining in the room. Chúng ta ở lại trong căn phòng. Thay vì mình nói là stay in thì mình có thể nói là remaining. No, we aren't going home. We aren't going home. We are remaining in the room. Again, are we going home? Are we going home?
Are we
Going
going
home?
home?
No,
No,
we aren't.
we
And
aren't.
we
We
aren't
aren't
going
going
home.
home.
We are
We are
remaining in the
remaining in a room.
room. Are they standing behind the house? Are they standing behind the house? No, they aren't standing behind the house. They are standing in front of the house. Not behind, but in front of. Again, are they?
Are they standing behind the house?
No,
No,
they aren't.
no, they aren't standing behind the house.
They are
They are
standing
standing
in front of
of
the
the house.
not behind but in front of. Not behind but in front of. Right, again. Present continuous. Present
Present
continuous.
continuous.
Us.
Us.
New us.
Continuous.
Us. New us. Continuous.
Continuous.
Us. Quest. Co-quest.
Question.
Questions. S one more S. Questions. Yeah. Positive.
Positive.
You are speaking. You are speaking. Question. Are you speaking?
Are you speaking?
You will move the position of the word are to beginning to the beginning of the sentence to make the questions. You are speaking is a positive sentence. For a question, you put are before you and we say, are you speaking? You are speaking is a positive sentence. Say again. You are speaking is a positive sentence. For a question, we put
we
put we put again put yes put are before you and we say are you speaking? Are you sitting on a chair? Are you sitting on a chair? Yes, I'm sitting on a chair. Yes, I'm sitting on a chair. Are you
speaking?
Sitting
on
again
chair?
sitting. Okay. Yes,
Yes,
I am sitting
on
a
the chair.
What am I doing? You're closing the book. What am I doing? You're closing the book.
You're closing the book.
Closing.
You're
closing the book.
closing
Yeah, you're closing the book. Not opening the book, but closing the book. Ask him. Again, ask him.
Ask him.
Ask him. Ask her. Good. Ask him. A question. With the present continuous. With the present continuous. With the present continuous. One more S. Us. Good. Ask him a question with the present continuous. Ask him a question. Ask him a question with the present continuous. Very good. What are you doing? Am I writing? Etc. What are you doing? Again, what are you doing? What
are you doing?
Am I writing? Writing. Am I writing? Am I
Am I writing?
Right, writing.
Writing?
Am I writing? Am
Am I
I writing?
writing?
Yes, you are. Okay. Present simple again. Present simple. Present
Present
simple.
simple.
Do does. Do
Do.
does. Japanese.
Japanese.
Needs. One more S.
Japanese.
Japanese. When you see SE at the
Japanese.
end, you need to say saw sound. Japanese.
Japanese.
Chinese.
Chinese.
Good. Present simple. Present simple.
Present simple.
Positive.
Positive.
Positive. I speak. You speak. I speak. You speak.
I speak.
You
You
speak.
speak.
Good. He, she, it. He, she, it. Again. He, she, it.
He, she is.
Speaks.
Speak.
One more
Speak.
S. He speaks.
He
He.
speaks.
Good. She speaks.
She
Speaks.
speaks.
One more
She
S.
speaks.
Good. It speaks.
It speaks.
Good. We speak. You speak. They speak. We
We
speak.
speak.
You
You
speak.
speak.
They
They
speak.
speak.
We use the present continuous for an actions we are doing now. Whereas it means that but or you can say be while. That's okay. Or while. But a while, or you say, but whereas, we use the present simple for an action we do generally. For example, now you are speaking English. You are speaking English with me, but generally you speak Vietnamese, right? We speak Vietnamese. He is not reading a book now. He is not reading the book now, but he generally reads books. He has the action of reading book in his free time. Again, we use the present continuous for an action we are doing now. Again, we use
the present continuous
for
for
an
an
action
action
we
we
are
are
doing
doing
now.
now.
Whereas
Whereas
we use
we use
the
the
present
present
simple
symbol
for
for
an
an
action
action
we
we
do
do
generally.
generally.
For example,
Generally.
for example,
For example,
now you
now
you are
you are
speaking
speaking
English,
English,
but
but
generally
generally,
you speak
generally
you speak
you speak
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese.
He is not reading a book now, but generally he reads books. He is
He is not
reading,
reading a book now,
but
but
generally
generally
he reads
he reads
books.
books.
Again, reading. Again,
Reading,
reading a book now.
reading,
Reading a book now.
reading a book now.
Good. What's the difference? Difference, not the same, but
Different.
difference between the present continuous and the present simple. Again, between what's one more s here and difference one more s here. What's the difference? Again? What's the difference? What's
What's the
difference?
difference?
One more s. What's one more s? Difference s. What's the difference?
What's the difference? The difference.
Difference.
Different.
Between.
Between.
The present continuous. The present continuous.
The present continuous.
And the present simple. Again. And the
the present
simple.
simple.
What's the difference between the present continuous and the present simple? What's the difference between the present continuous and the present simple? Again. What's
What the
difference
difference between the present continuous and the present simple?
The present simple. Good. The difference between the present continuous and the present simple is that we use the present continuous for an action we are doing now, whereas we use the present simple for an action we do generally. Again.
The difference.
Again, difference. S. Difference.
Difference.
S. Difference.
Difference.
Good.
Between the present continuous and the present simple
is that
we use the present continuous for an action we are doing now.
Whereas
we use the present symbol
for
an action we do
generally. Generally.
Generally.
Generally. Generally.
Generally.
With the present simple, we use the word do. The word do hasn't got a meaning. It means that it has no meaning. It has no meaning. But we use it in questions and negative sentences. For example, we say, do you speak Japanese? And you do not speak Japanese. Again, with the present simple, we use the word do. The word do hasn't got a meaning, but we use it in questions and negative sentences. For example, we say, do you speak Japanese? And you do not speak Japanese. Again, with the present
With,
simple,
with the present simple,
we
use
the word do.
do.
The word do
Do
hasn't got
hasn't got
a meaning.
a meaning.
Meaning again.
But
Meaning.
meaning.
But we
Meaning.
use it. Use it. But
But
we use it.
you,
Use it.
but we use
Use it. Use it. We use it.
use
Use it.
using
We use it in
using
questions.
in
Questions and negative.
and question and
Negative.
narratives.
Again. Negative.
Narrative.
Sentences.
Narrative. Sentence.
Sentences. For example.
For example,
We say.
we say,
Do
do
you
you
speak
speak
Japanese?
Japanese?
And you do not
Do
speak.
you not speak
Japanese.
Japanese?
Japanese.
Niece.
Niece. Are you reading that book? Are you reading that book? No, I'm not reading this book. No, I'm not reading this book. Again, are you?
Are you reading that book?
No.
No, I'm not reading this book.
Do you read that book? Do you read that book? Yes, I read this book. Yes, I read this book. Nhưng mà bây giờ tôi không có đang đọc thôi. Nhưng mà tôi có đọc cái cuốn sách đó. Có nghĩa là bây giờ mình không có đội nón. We are not wearing a hat. Nhưng mà bạn có đội nón hay không? Có nghĩa là do you wear a hat? Yes, I wear a hat. Nhưng mà bây giờ là I'm not wearing a hat. Cái phần be verb in có nghĩa là đang làm hành động đó. Còn mình nói là do cộng cái hành động đó có nghĩa là mình thường mình có làm cái đó hay không, chứ không phải là hỏi hiện tại. Vậy là hiện tại đơn với thằng hiện tại tiếp diễn nó khác cho đó. Nếu một cái hành động gì đó mình đang làm, we are doing now, thì cái đó là present continuous. Nhưng mà mình do generally thì cái đó là present simple. Again, do you read that book? Yes, I read this book. Do you?
Do you read that book? Yes, I read this book.
Read no s. Read again. Read this book. Read this book.
Read this book.
Read no s. Read this book.
Read this book.
Are you reading that book? Do you read that book? Again, do you read that book? Do you
read that book?
Yes, I read.
Yes, I read that book.
This book.
Read that book.
Vì sao lại dùng this? Có nghĩa là người kia đang ở xa mình nói là người kia sẽ hỏi là do you read that book? Hỏi mình đó là do you read that book? Cái cuốn đó ở gần mình. Yes, I read this book. Tôi có đọc cuốn sách này. Đối với người ta là đó, nhưng mà đối với mình là này. Tùy theo trường hợp thôi. Còn nếu mà cuốn sách xa cả hai người luôn thì mình dùng that hết. Are you writing? No, I'm not writing. Do you write? Yes, I write. Bây giờ bạn có đang viết chữ không? Tôi không có đang viết chữ, nhưng mà bạn có viết chữ không? Do you write? Yes, I write. Again, are you writing? No, I'm not writing. Do you write? Yes, I write. Again.
Are you writing? No, I'm not writing. Do you write? Yes, I write.
I write. Very good. Am I going to the door? Am I going to the door? No, you aren't going to the door. You are remaining on the chair. Bây giờ bạn không có đang đi tới cái cửa, nhưng mà mà bạn đang ngồi lại trên cái ghế. Do you go to the door after the lesson? Bạn có đi tới cái cửa sau cái tiết học hay không? Do you go to the door after the lesson? Yes, you go to the door after the lesson. Again, am I going to the door? Yes. Am I going to the door? No, you aren't going to the door. You are remaining on the chair. Do you go to the door after the lesson? Yes. You go to the door after the lesson. Am I?
Am I going to the door? No, you aren't.
You aren't. Again, you aren't. You aren't. Very good. Aren't going to the door. You aren't going to the door.
Going to the door.
You are remaining on the chair. You are remaining.
You are remaining
on the chair. On the chair.
On the chair.
On the chair. Do you go to the door after the lesson? Do you go to the door after the lesson? Do you?
Do
you go to the door?
Do you go to the door
after the
lesson?
Yes, you.
Yes, you go to the door
after
the lesson.
For he, she, and it. For he, she, and it, we use the word does. For example, we say, does he speak Japanese? And he does not speak Japanese. For he, she, it, we use the word does. For example, we say, does he speak Japanese? And he does not speak Japanese. Em có thể bật cái phụ đề lên ha, nếu mà cần ha, tùy mình ha. For he, she, and it, we use the word does. Again, for he, she, and it. For he, she, and it.
For he, she, and it.
We use
the
word does. For example, we say, does he speak Japanese? Niece. One more time. Niece. Niece. And he does not speak Japanese. Speak Japanese. Good. Is he going home? No, he isn't going home. He's remaining in the room. Does he go home after the lesson? Yes, he goes home after the lesson. Is he going home? No, he isn't going home after. Isn't going home now. He's remaining in the room. Does he go home after the lesson? Yes, he goes home after the lesson. Is he?
Is he going home? No, he isn't going home. He's remaining in the room.
Does
he go home after the lesson? Yes, he goes,
not goes, but does, but goes. Does.
He goes home after the lesson.
Is she speaking? No, she isn't speaking. Does she speak? Yes, she speaks. Is she?
Is she speaking?
No, she isn't.
No,
she isn't speaking. Does she speak? Yes, she speaks. Có nghĩa là đang làm cái đó hay không? Không đang làm nhưng mà có làm cái đó hay không là có. Do not, don't. Do not, don't. Do not, don't. Don't. Okay. Does not, doesn't. Does. One more S. Does not. Doesn't. Remain. It means that stay. Present simple negative. Present simple negative. I do not speak. You do not speak. I do not speak.
do not speak.
You do not speak.
You not speak.
He doesn't. He does not speak. She does not speak. It does not speak.
He does not speak. She does not speak. It does not speak.
We do not speak. You do not speak. They do not speak. We
do not speak.
You
do not speak.
They
do not speak.
For the negative of the present simple, we use the words do not and we say I do not speak Chinese. The contraction of do not is don't. I don't speak Chinese. For the negative of the present simple, again, for the negative of the present simple.
For the
negative. For the negative
of the
present simple. We use the words do not. We use the word do not.
We use the word do not.
Words hai từ. Words do one word, not one word. So two words. Use the words do not. We use the words do not.
We use the words do not.
And we say I do not speak Chinese.
And we say I do not speak Chinese.
The contraction of do not is don't. The contraction of do not is don't.
The contraction of do not is don't.
I don't speak Chinese. I don't speak Chinese. What's the negative of I speak? The negative of I speak is I don't speak. The negative of I speak is I don't speak. What's the negative of I speak? The negative of I speak. The negative of I speak is I don't speak. Very good. Do you remain here after the lesson? Again, do you remain here after the lesson? Do you
remain here after
the lesson?
Lesson.
Again, lesson. Lesson.
Lesson.
After the lesson. After the lesson. After
After the lesson.
No, I don't remain here after the lesson. I go home. No, I don't remain here after the lesson. I go home. Again, no.
No, I don't remember
Here.
here.
I meant here. Ở lại đây. After.
I meant here.
After
After
the lesson.
the lesson.
I go
home.
Okay. Do they speak Japanese? Do they speak Japanese? No, they don't speak Japanese. They speak Vietnamese. No, they don't speak Japanese. They speak Vietnamese. Do they? Do they?
Do they speak Japanese?
No.
No, they don't speak Japanese.
They speak Vietnamese. Vietnamese.
Vietnamese.
Me. One S. Vietnamese. Yes, Vietnamese.
Vietnamese.
Do I read books in Chinese? Do I read books in Chinese? No, you don't read books in Chinese. You read books in English. You read books in English. Again, do I? Do I read books in Chinese?
Do I
read books in
Japanese?
Chinese.
No.
Okay, no. Chinese. Again, Chinese, not Japanese, but Chinese. Chinese.
Chinese.
You don't.
No, you don't
read books in
Chinese.
You read books.
You read books
in
English.
English. Very good. For he, she, and it, we use the words does not for the negative, and we say he does not speak English. The conjunction of does not is doesn't. He doesn't speak Chinese. Again, for he, she, and it. For he, she, and it.
For he, she, and it.
We use one more s and words one more s. Does one more s. We use the words does not. We use the words does not.
We use the words does not.
Very good. For the negative. For the negative again. For the
negative.
Narrative. Sorry. Negative. And we say he does not speak Chinese. And we say he does not speak Chinese. And
we say he does not speak
Chinese. The conjunction of does not is doesn't. The conjunction of does not is doesn't. The conjunction of does not is doesn't. He doesn't speak Chinese. He doesn't speak Chinese.
He doesn't speak Chinese.
Chinese, not Chinese, but Chinese.
Chinese.
One more S. Chinese. What's the negative of I speaks? What's the negative of he speaks? What's the negative of he speaks? The negative of he speaks is he doesn't speak. The negative of he speaks is he doesn't speak. Again, what's the negative of he speaks? What's
not the negative
of
the negative of he speaks?
The negative of he speaks. The
negative
of
he
speaks is
he
doesn't speak. Doesn't speak. Does she speak Japanese? Does she speak Japanese? No, she doesn't speak Japanese. She speaks English. No, she doesn't speak Japanese. She speaks English. Does she speak?
Does she speak Japanese?
No,
she doesn't speak Japanese.
She speaks
English.
Does he remain here after the lesson? Does he remain here after the lesson? No, he doesn't remain here after the lesson. He goes home after the lesson. Goes home after the lesson. Does he remain here after the lesson? Does he remain here after the lesson?
Does he remember here after the lesson? No, he doesn't
remain here.
Remain here after the lesson.
He goes home.
Goes home
after
the lesson.
Does she write in German? Tiếng Đức ha. Does she write in German? Does she write in German? No, she doesn't write in German. She writes in English. No, she doesn't write in German. She writes in English. Right again. Right. Right. This word writes.
Right.
S writes.
Right.
Does she write in German? Does she write in German? Again. Does she
write in German?
German. No, she doesn't write in German. No, she doesn't write in German. No,
she doesn't write German.
In German. In English, in Vietnamese, in Chinese, in Japanese, in Korean, in something, in a language. He writes in English. She writes in English. Writes in. Again, writes in. She writes in English.
Writes in English.
Present simple. Again, present
simple.
Questions.
Question.
Do I speak? Do you speak? Do I speak? Do Do
Do
I
I
speak?
speak?
Do you speak?
Do
Do you
you
speak?
speak?
Does he? Does he? You can say does he? Does say does he? That's okay. Does it? Does it speak? Then does she? Does he? Again, does he speak? Does he speak? Does
Does
he
she?
speak? Does he? Does
Does
he?
she speak?
Does he speak? Does she? Does she? Does she speak? Does
Does
she
she? Does she
speak?
speak?
Does it? Does it? Does it speak?
Does
Does it
she?
speak?
Does she speak?
Do we speak? Do we speak? Do you speak? Do they speak?
Do we speak? Do you speak?
Do
Do they
they speak?
speak?
Good. For questions, for questions, we use the words do and does, and we say, do you speak Chinese or does she write in German? Again, for
For
questions, we
for
use
question, we use
the
the
words
verb
what's
do
use the
and
words
does,
and we say
and we say, do you speak
speak
Chinese?
Chinese or
Or
does she
write? Does she
write
write
in
in
German?
German?
German. Okay, German.
German.
That's okay, German. Ask him, ask her. Again, ask him, ask her. Ask him, ask her.
Ask him, ask her.
A question.
A question.
With the word do, please. With the word do, please. With the word do, please.
With the word do,
please. Ask him a question with the word do, please. Ask him a question with the word do, please. Ask him
Ask him
a question
a question
with
the word do,
please. Good.
Please.
Do you speak English? Do you speak English? Do they read books at home? Do they read books at home? Do you read English? Again, do you
speak
English?
English?
Do they
Read their books at home?
At home, right? Ask him a question with the word does, please. Does, please. Again, ask him.
Ask him a question with a word they
Does, please.
does
Please.
please.
Does he speak Chinese? Does he speak Chinese? Does she read books in French? Does she read books in French? Again, does he speak Chinese? Does he speak Chinese?
He speak
Chinese.
Chinese.
Does he speak Chinese?
Does she read books in the French?
French. Does she read books in French? Books. Again, books.
French.
Books.
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 Does she read books?
Read book
Books in French.
in French.
Okay, again. Dictation 2. You aren't Mrs. This is Mrs. Brown.
Mrs. Brown.
Mrs.
Mrs.
You are aunt. You aren't. Not you aren't, but you aren't. You aren't Mrs. Brown. You aren't Mrs. Brown. You
aren't
Mrs.
Mr. Brown.
Mrs. Not Mr. but Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Brown.
Mrs. Brown.
You are Mr.
Brown.
Green. Mr. This is Mr.
You are Mr. Green.
Mr.
Mr. Green.
Mr. Good. Mr. Green. I'm Mrs. Brown. I'm Mrs.
Brown.
Well, good. Six.
Six.
We have
Six.
X out. We have six and S. Six.
Oh. Six.
Ik.
X.
Six. Seven. Eight. Nine. 10. The women are standing under the light in front of the picture. The women are standing under the lights dưới đèn.
Under the light.
In front of the picture.
In front of the picture.
In front.
Front
Of.
of.
In front of
In front of
the picture.
the picture.
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 Where's the house?
Where's the house?
Where's
the house?
House. One more S. House. One more house. S. It's behind her. It's behind her.
It's behind her.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
What am I doing?
What am I doing?
What am I doing?
What am I doing? You are taking the bag from me. You are taking the bag from me. You are taking the
You
bag.
are taking the bag from me.
Bag.
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 The bag.
Bag. Bag.
Bag.
Bag.
Bag.
G.
G.
Bag.
Bag.
Shorter a little bit. Bag.
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 You are taking the bag from me.
You are taking the bag from me.
From.
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 Rom.
From.
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 The where? Closing it. Closing it.
Closing.
It.
Closing.
Closing it.
It.
And putting it on the floor. Putting it in the floor.
And putting it
on the
on the floor.
on the floor. On the floor.
On the
floor.
floor.
On the
On the
floor.
floor.
On the
Floor.
floor.
On the floor.
A floor. Floor. Which door is open? Which door is open? Which
open.
good? Which again? Which
Which
door?
Which door
Is open? Open. That door is.
What door is
11.
11?
Not E but E. 11. 12.
12.
13.
13.
14.
14.
15.
15.
15.
15.
Rồi, ok. Rồi, một bài của chúng ta là nó sẽ là như vậy ha.